When you pick up a new pair of hiking boots, you don't want to test them out by taking them for a leisurely stroll down the sidewalk outside your house. You want to go on an epic hike in the mountains. A few months ago, when I picked up this Porsche 991.2, I planned what I thought would be the perfect test, a 5-day cross-country drive with my dad from Toronto to Los Angeles. The drive was fantastic, but it was more akin to a walk down a very long sidewalk in new hiking boots, as opposed to the epic hike. Never-ending highway that's flat and long and straight is not the ideal proving ground for a Porsche 911. The silver lining in all of this is that I did end up in California, which is the hiking capital of the world in more ways than one. Literally a 7-minute drive from where I am staying while I'm out here. We've got some of the most magnificent, challenging, winding canyon roads, which are the perfect proving grounds for a Porsche 911. Here we go. Okay, so we're just starting on the canyon roads. The 23 South, a freeway, all of a sudden turns into this. I've switched the car into sport mode, stiffens the suspension, it tightens the steering a little bit, it makes the throttle more sensitive, and we're off. Wow! Oh my! Corner after corner. As soon as I feel the G-force, I know that I'm going to come out the other end okay. And then I apply the acceleration through the turn, and I can't help but smile. It is an incredible machine. These are the roads that it was meant for. 5 days of cross-country driving, and it was a fun, enjoyable drive. Definitely a good warm-up. This is where a 911 should be driven. So this is the Carrera 4S, all-wheel drive, and it has Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control, PDCC. And what that does is it levels the car out, it keeps it flat on undulating surfaces and through corners. Let's talk about some of the positives of this car. First and foremost, what Porsche is known for, and what I've really noticed since I've started driving it aggressively, is its handling, its balance, its grip. This car is so solid and instills so much confidence in the driver. It creates an environment where you really feel like you can do anything and you won't die. Oh my! Now that turn was a very tight turn, and I took it at speed, and this car is just so nimble and so solid that you can accelerate out of the turn. It takes a lot to get the rear end off. In fact, it's nearly impossible to get the rear end out in this car. So with the Sport Chrono package, it's an optional package in 911s. You get the Sport chronometer, and you get a few additional bells and whistles that enhance the driving experience. First of all, you get the Ferrari-esque dial at your fingertips, which lets you toggle between different drive modes. You've got O, which is sort of the ordinary drive, and that's what the car defaults to when you start up. That's pretty much what I drive it in all the time, with a slight modification. Unfortunately, because of emission standards, O forces on an auto engine stop. It's called it's an auto start-stop function, which shuts the engine down when you come to a stop in order to reduce your emissions, and I find that to be incredibly annoying. One of the other settings on the dial is the I, or individualized mode, and what that does is it lets you tweak any of the driving modes according to your preference. So what I've done is I've basically tweaked the standard driving mode, forcing off the auto start stop and also forcing on the sports exhaust, which I vied for. Some people will say that it's obnoxious. You're in a Porsche, you don't have to advertise that you're in a Porsche by blasting your exhaust louder. I don't really think it's that much of a difference between the normal mode and the sports exhaust mode, and I like to hear the engine. It's not about making other people aware that I'm driving a Porsche, it's that I like to hear the sonorous tones of the car. Then you've got Sport, which is what I like to put it in when I'm on canyon roads, like we're on now. It stiffens the suspension, it stiffens the steering a little bit, more direct steering. If you're in automatic mode, it'll keep you in a lower gear for longer, and it will make the throttle a little bit more sensitive. Unless I'm driving on roads like this or on the track, I don't usually put it into sport mode. Also, the shifts are a little bit more severe. They're more aggressive, and so it results in a slightly more jerky drive. And then there's Sport Plus, which is like sport mode but on steroids, and I never go into Sport Plus unless I'm on track. These roads are incredible. Just open up. And the brakes are just fantastic. Since it's the S, the Porsche 911 S variants have larger brakes than the regular versions. In the front, we've got 6-piston aluminum monoblock calipers on 350mm cross-drilled discs, and in the back they're 330mm 4-piston monoblock aluminum calipers on 330mm discs, and they grip like nothing else. Rain or shine, it can stop you, I think, from 100 kilometers an hour to 0 in about 42 meters. And these are not the carbon ceramics. The carbon ceramics you really don't need unless you're on the racetrack and you want to reduce brake fade after lap after lap after lap. But these brakes are just incredible. The cross drilling in the discs increases responsiveness and reduces overheating and brake fade, as well as increases performance or improves performance in the rain. Oh my! It just pulls around those corners. Oh, the G-force is unbelievable that it can maintain without losing any grip. Oh! So this car is just so solid. You know, you can come into these turns incredibly fast, not brake at all, and you just have so much confidence. Now, that's a positive, and then it's also slightly a negative, because the engineering that goes into this, it to some degree mutes personality, and you never really feel scared. And maybe that's a good thing. I think that is a good thing all in all, but I think it's possible to create a situation where you can feel like you're having fun without feeling scared. And I'll tell you what I mean. I had a 2008 BMW M3 some years ago. It had a mode called M Sport, a driving mode called M Sport. And what BMW told you M Sport did was it made sure that you stayed alive, but it disabled traction control and firmed up the drive just enough so that the rear end would kick out, you would lose just a little bit of control, and it was an absolute hoot to drive. I know we're comparing apples and oranges. That was a tail-happy, front-engine V8 BMW M3. This is an all-wheel drive, rear-engine Porsche 911. But the concept of having a drive mode where you don't actually need to be close to the edge, close to the death, a balance between boring and dying, I think would be awesome if Porsche introduced. Wow. Oh, yeah, can't get the rear end out. But I feel absolutely no fear, so confident. The only fear I have is that there might be a speed trap around the bend, but I'm not going that fast. And then the brakes, they just, So another negative, so one negative, which really isn't a negative, it's basically like saying it's too good, it's too solid, it's too fantastic, in that they've engineered, you know, any danger out of this car. You can drive it hard into corners, come out the other side totally unscathed, and you can't kick the rear end out. All I'm saying is it would be fun if they had a mode that made you feel like you were close to death when you weren't really close to death. Maybe not close to death, but where it exhibited a little bit more freedom in the rear end. Another negative, which is really weird. Oh my, what a turn. Another negative, which is really weird, is the design of the car somehow appeals to rats. I've never had this problem before, and I'm not staying in a rat-infested area. I mean, it's California, parking is outside, so there are rodents. But all of a sudden, soon after getting out here, the air conditioning in the car stopped working. I took it to the local Porsche dealership, and what was the issue? Rats had nested in and around the engine compartment and had chewed through a bunch of the wiring. And the fellow in the service department told me that this is not an uncommon problem for the new 911s. Something about the way that it's designed provides easy access to this area, which has, first of all, is warm because it's near the engine, and second of all, it has a bunch of wiring or material that for some reason rodents like to chew on. So that's kind of weird and gross and inconvenient, and I hope it doesn't happen again. The other minor complaint, which I noticed just today, and hopefully it won't happen again, as I'm out here on these canyon roads, I've stopped a couple times to take pictures, and to make the picture seem a little more dramatic, I forced on the lights in the front. I've just gotten a warning message come up that says there's a problem with my front left light, and I just got this car 7 months ago. The warning light has disappeared. Hopefully it won't come on again, but that's the only kind of technical glitch I've experienced so far. Look at the ocean. California. And here we are in Malibu. Before signing off, we want to encourage you to find a proving ground near you and take your car to put it through its paces. It's a ton of fun, and it'll cause you to look at your car and its capabilities in a brand new light. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our TrackWorthy channel if you like the content we're putting out, and also check out our website, TrackWorthy.com. We have many more exciting videos planned for while we're out here in California, including more canyon roads, some car meetups, and at least one long drive along the Pacific Coast Highway. Oh my!